Hi folks, how's it going? Reba here. Today we're going to do some musing. As you can tell by the title, I'm not out on a backpacking trip, but we will talk about backpacking. We're going to talk about my chemical-free life. I alluded to some health issues that I was having earlier this year. I didn't get into detail, but I'm going to now. I have talked about some plans that I have and the health issues that I've been having the last while may get in the way of some of my plans. I don't know. So earlier this year, I was having some difficulty at work with struggling with some fragrances. You've probably noticed in my backpacking videos even where I avoid and complain about people who have fragrances on, whether they use perfume or cologne or they use laundry products that have a lot of fragrance in them. And let me tell you something about your laundry products. If it doesn't say unscented or fragrance free, then it contains a fragrance and I can smell it from very far away. So I was calling it hyperosmia, which just means hyper sense of smell. Some people, after they get COVID, can't smell or taste anything. Well, for the past 20 years or so, I've been struggling with this ever worsening hyper sense of smell. So at the beginning of the year, I had said to my boss at work, I'm struggling. There are some people that I'm working with that are quite fragrant, and I would like to be put in an office if at all possible, so that I have walls and a door that I can close and be away from the fragrances. Some people in the office took great offense to that and quite literally yelled and screamed at me and my boss Ez, and there were threats and all kinds of things. So it was not taken well. I was given an office eventually. There was a whole bunch of stuff that happened. With the stress of all of that, I ended up, and I didn't say this on my channel at all, I ended up in March taking 3 weeks medical leave because I was not functioning at all with the stress and the threats. I was not feeling safe at work. I was also diagnosed, or unofficially diagnosed by my general practitioner, my family doctor, with multiple chemical sensitivities. This is a difficult diagnosis and not something that I would wish on anybody, but I also have to wait for an official specialist diagnosis, which is taking several months to be able to get into a clinic. There are 2 environmental health clinics in the entire country of over 40 million people. One is here in Toronto, and all they do is diagnose. There's no treatment. The other clinic is in Halifax, Nova Scotia, and they only take patients from Nova Scotia because they're overrun. The waiting list to get into the clinic in Toronto is 3 years. Yes, 3 years. So my work was telling me they will give me an office, they will put up signs around the office and send out an email saying, okay, everybody avoid using fragrances, but it's not being enforced entirely. One, because I've given up complaining because of the threats and such that I was getting, and 2, because they have said legally they have done all they need to do right now because I don't have an official diagnosis. So when I do have an official diagnosis, they will actually enforce it further than they already have. And what's the word I'm looking for? accommodate me, but they are only legally required to do that if I have an official diagnosis. So after I got the letter from the health clinic that it's going to take 3 years to get an appointment, I kind of scrambled and just kept trying to find some doctor who is a specialist or is considered a specialist and could give me a diagnosis. So I found another doctor, but her waiting list is about a year. So it's 2 years shorter than the Women's College Hospital Clinic. So I'm still waiting on that. And then I was also diagnosed with low vitamin B12, which is very likely caused for me by an autoimmune disease called pernicious anemia. I am an omnivore. I eat animal products, breakfast, lunch, and dinner for the most part. So having a low vitamin B12 is very unusual for someone who eats meat and animal products regularly. It's usually something that a vegetarian or vegan would have because they don't eat meat. Well, I eat meat quite often and quite a lot of it in sometimes. So the fact that I have low vitamin B12 is very unusual and very likely because of the rest of my medical history with other autoimmune diseases. It's very likely pernicious anemia, though the blood test for that came back as I can't think of the word. I can't word right now. You know what I mean though, right? So I've been taking mega doses of vitamin B12, and because of my chemical difficulties, I have to take a natural form of vitamin B12. So I take methylcobalamin rather than the synthetic form, because the synthetic form would probably not do me any good because of chemical issues. So the chemical issues that I have are not just with fragrances, but also with foods. And I had noticed difficulty with manufactured and processed foods quite some time ago, a few years ago. So I had pretty much eliminated manufactured foods that have synthetic ingredients in them. So if I do eat a manufactured food, it's all like it'll have maybe 5 ingredients in it, and all natural foods, no synthetic ingredients. And synthetic means they are made, it's a petroleum product for the most part, and they are made in a lab. They're not naturally occurring things. Like a scientist has to create these ingredients in a lab. So food scientists, that's what they do. They create these food-like substances in laboratories, and they are ingredients in a lot of the manufactured foods that are on store shelves these days that I can't eat. So because of my fragrance issues, I also cannot use the laundromat, like a public laundromat. I have to hand wash all of my clothes because I don't have a washing machine in my apartment, and I can't go to the laundry here in the building because everybody else in the building uses really fragrant products, like really fragrant products. So I use unscented everything. The laundry soap that I have and the dish soap and the hand soap that I have are from the Unscented company. They are plant-based products and no fragrance, no scent added to them. They have like a mild smell just from the ingredients because they're like flower-based ingredients. So there is like a slight, very, very slight floral scent to them, but not heavily. The shampoo and conditioner, I also use Unscented company conditioner. I use Everyone 3-in-1 body wash shampoo, unscented. I use on the dog, I use Unscented company dog shampoo. It's a shampoo bar, so that it makes it really easy to give her a bath. So everything that I do, I have to reduce my exposure to chemicals, whether it's food or whether it's fragrances. Primarily fragrances just set me right off. I get immediate headache as soon as I walk. To me, it feels like, even though like you can't see it, it feels like I'm walking into a cloud of scent. And it's not that the scent is offensive. It's not that it doesn't smell like a perfume, or it doesn't smell like, the Irish Meadow or whatever scent your laundry soap is. It's not that it's offensive. It's not an offensive smell. It burns and it causes an immediate headache. If I have to sit next to somebody who has fragrance on for an extended period of time, then the headache turns to nausea, my throat burns, my nose burns, my eyes burn. And then I start to get confusion and weak, and it's not good. It's not a really good picture. So when at work, when I was going days and days and days with constant exposure, I was debilitated. Add on top of that the vitamin B12 deficiency, which causes cognitive disability, memory problems, vision problems, mental exhaustion, physical exhaustion, physical pain, and eventually vitamin B12 deficiency, if left untreated. And it's just a supplement. You just take a supplement. If left untreated, vitamin B12 deficiency can lead to dementia, paralysis, and eventually death. So please, vegetarians and vegans, do take a vitamin B12 supplement, because it's really an absolutely necessary vitamin for the human body to be able to function properly. It also causes, vitamin B12 deficiency also causes depression. So yeah, on top of all of that, it was not a pleasant experience. So once I was away from the fragrances for a few weeks, and once we sorted out the vitamin B12 deficiency, then I'm starting to feel better. I still have some symptoms of the B12 deficiency. I still have symptoms, of course, when I come in contact with fragrances. It's difficult to go out into public areas. I did have tickets this year to go to Fan Expo, and it's a 4-day weekend convention. I ended up going for not quite a day and a half, because I couldn't handle the people and the fragrances. I have to wear a charcoal, and thankfully I found this mask during COVID, and it has charcoal in it. It's 3 layers thick, and it has charcoal in the fabric so that it blocks not all of the fragrance, but it blocks some of it, so I don't get such a heavy dose of it if I have the mask on. So going out into public areas, like on public transit, or to go see a movie, or to go to Fan Expo, if I have the mask on, it's okay. But after a while, it does get a little bit overwhelming. So public places can be a challenge. Having people in my house can be a challenge if they use a fragrant laundry product. Going to visit family who use fragrant laundry products. I have some family, I just can't go into their house because their laundry smells so strong of these products that I can't breathe. Or they use those terrible Glade plugins or Febreze spray. So any of that makes me terribly, terribly sick. So how does this fit in with backpacking and stuff? You might be wondering. Well, I'm just going to stir my hot chocolate because it's kind of settled a little bit. And then I'm going to take a sip. Use your props, Rebecca. That's what my drama teacher always said. Use your props. So how this all fits into backpacking. you've seen me out on trail complaining about fragrances. That's when I'm outside and I am, 10 feet away from someone and they have fragrance on. I can smell them. I watch videos of people like through hiking the Appalachian Trail or the Pacific Crest Trail or whatever, and they walk past someone who's just gone on trail, or they're a day hiker, or they've just come back in onto trail from town, and they smell like laundry products. And they're like, they smell so good. To me, that would make me choke. So this is where backpacking comes in. I really want to do the Appalachian Trail and at least 2 of the Caminos in Spain. I'm planning to do the Camino Primitivo and the Camino Frances. And Dawn and I are planning to do that together when we retire when we turn 60, which is just a little under 4 years from now. So what my worry or my concern is when I am doing any of these long trails is, one, the fragrances of the people out on trail, because the Caminos can be quite crowded, and some of them, and the albergues can be quite crowded, like lots and lots of people in them. I can't afford to stay in hotels the whole time, or B&B or anything like that. So even when I stay in a B&B, I have to take my own bedding, because if they use a fragrant laundry product, which probably 99% of the population in North America does anyway, some of the products that are heavily fragranced here in North America, those products are banned, or some of those products ingredients are banned in the European Union. So I'm not sure. I don't know if the fragrances will be the same. I tend to think that the perfume and cologne will be just the same as they are here, because I've walked down into, bunches of tourists in Toronto, and it's just all perfume, all cologne, and I'm sure some of those people come from the countries that tend to walk on the Camino. So, I mean, I have nothing against tourists. I have nothing against immigrants at all. It's just the chemicals that they're wearing are not good for my health. So that's one of my concerns, is the fragrances of the people on the trail. And if I have to stay in a hotel, or if I'm on the Appalachian Trail staying in hostels, I'm pretty sure that they probably, in America, I'm pretty sure that they all use probably, Tide or Gain, which are, 2 of the smelliest. So I just don't know what I'm going to do about that. Like, do I stay in hostels, or do I just camp every single night for, 150 to 200, well, I can't even stay 200 days because that's over 6 months. But anyway, like, that's the logistics of doing all of that are going to be a little bit tricky. Plus all of my dietary restrictions. I have celiac disease. Yeah, gluten-free is easy to find, but if you also have to avoid chemical ingredients in processed foods, what do you eat when you're on trail? Like, all of these, thru hikers that I watch on YouTube, they're eating foods that I can't eat them, because they're full of ingredients that I just can't eat. So it's going to be really difficult for me to resupply in some areas where the resupply is just happening in a gas station. So I'll probably have to send boxes. I don't know. I have 4 years to think about all of this, yes. And I don't know what's happening with, with my generally functioning or non-functioning health. Because if, things might get worse, I don't know. I'm hoping, touch wood, actually that's the tablecloth, touch wood that it gets better if I can, get a doctor who does treatment. I had an initial 2-hour intake appointment, And I asked the doctor, do people ever get better from multiple chemical sensitivities? And she said yes. And I was like, I just started crying because I've been sick with this for so long. And I didn't even know what it was until, February this year that my GP put a name to it. So, once you know what the problem is, and you can start to take care of it. The problem is that to take care of multiple chemical sensitivities, the only treatment right now is avoidance. And how do you avoid chemical fragrances? Well, you have to avoid people. And I don't know if you've noticed, but there's a lot of people out there. A lot. And I have to go to the office sometimes and work with people. So that's my thinking right now. My plan is to retire in September 1st, 2027 will be my first day of retirement. That's too late in the year to start the Appalachian Trail, obviously. My friend Dawn turns 60 just I think 5 weeks after I turn 60. So the plan is that we will go over to Spain and we will do the 2 Caminos in Spain from probably October to end of November into early December maybe. And then I will come home for a couple or 3 months, and then I will start the Appalachian Trail probably around, I'm thinking March 1st. I want to be a little bit ahead of the bubble, but a little bit behind the snow. So, I don't know, February or March, I want to start because I don't want to be in the like super heat of the summer, because another thing, vitamin B12 deficiency causes heat intolerance. I cannot stand the heat. I can't function. I can't walk. It's too much. So I want to get as much ahead of the summertime as possible, so that I'm not hiking during the worst of the summertime. So that's the plan for now. The main thing that I have to work out is my health. The second thing that I have to work out for all of that while I'm away is what to do with my Cindy Lou. Because that's a lot. That's a big ask to ask somebody, can you mind my dog for 6 months? Yeah. So, but that's 4 years away. We'll work on that between now and then. In the meantime, I just need to figure out how to deal with chemicals and how to get better from this thing called multiple chemical sensitivity. On the multiple chemical sensitivity podcast the other week, they were talking with a doctor who not only treats people with MCS, but also has MCS herself. And she said, we are like the canaries in the coal mine. We people who suffer from MCS. It's not that we are just weird and sensitive. It's that these chemicals are affecting the population on the planet. It's just we are the first canaries to be falling ill from them. If you look at the history since, I guess you can call it the chemical age, or the technological, like post World War II, people started getting sick from this thing that they started calling multiple chemical sensitivity. So since the 1940s, people have been getting sick with this, and every year it's more and more and more and more, because now it's multiple generations, it's building up. And the more chemicals that we have in our foods, the more chemicals that we use on our foods, the more chemicals that we use in our clothing. This is merino wool. It's very nice. So the more chemical exposure we have, the more likely we are to get sick from them. And whether that is multiple chemical sensitivities or cancer or any other environmental illness, then until we stop using these chemicals, people are going to continue to get sick from them and not be able to function in the world. So please take care. try and avoid chemicals as much as you possibly can for your own health. And if you can use a zero fragrance laundry product and shampoo and conditioner so that you don't make somebody else that you don't even know sick, that would be much appreciated. Thank you so much for watching, and if you want some more information about multiple chemical sensitivity, I'll put some links below in the description. Hit the like button, leave a comment. Thanks. I'll catch you later.